Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Monday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk all things Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and today's report includes the Pittsburgh Steelers once again completely collapsed to end the season. This quarterback expresses his desired future with the Steelers. Notes from Mike Tomlin's press conference, and more. As always, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into the first news story of the day. The Pittsburgh Steelers once again completely collapsed to end the season. As the saying goes, the more things change, the more they stay the same. I guess it really doesn't matter whether you have Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph, or Justin Fields and Russell Wilson at quarterback. The Steelers are still going to go 10-7 and probably get smoked in the first round of playoffs. This past Saturday night, the Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Cincinnati Bengals 19-17, ending the regular season with a 4-game losing streak. Instead of breaking this game down quarter by quarter, it's time to start pointing fingers at those who are most to blame for this loss and the past month as a whole. Let's start from the top and work our way down, shall we? Once again, Mike Tomlin got outcoached on Saturday, and once again his team predictably fell apart in December. Tomlin always says, "We gotta unleash hell in December," but for some reason, whether they would play the 15-2 Chiefs or the 3-14 Browns, hell is instead unleashed upon them. It's almost like he hit his 9-win quota for the year and mailed it in from there. Also, shout out to ESPN for finally revealing on national television what us Steelers fans have been complaining about for years. During Saturday's game, this graphic showed how the last 13 seasons under Tomlin have gone, and it perfectly summarizes the mediocrity we have been watching for over a decade. Sprinkle on his clock mismanagement and his players turning on each other, Coach T is the captain of this sinking ship. The second culprit for this inexcusable collapse is quarterback Russell Wilson. My oh my, how the mighty have fallen in this case. From week 8, when he took over the starting job, to week 13, Russ looked like he had found the fountain of youth and had reverted back to his days with the Seattle Seahawks. However, since that 400-plus passing yard performance against the Bengals in week 13, Wilson has looked horrible. In the Cincinnati game on Saturday, Wilson was 17 for 31 for just 148 passing yards and 1 touchdown pass. Tell me, if you're a Steelers fan, if you've seen a quarterback who constantly checks the ball down and has no intermediate passing game put up a performance like that in the past couple of seasons. On top of that stat line, Wilson, who is a pretty profound clock manager, wasted 22 seconds on the team's attempted game-winning drive. At his own 42-yard line, down 2 points, with 46 seconds left in the game and 1 timeout remaining, Wilson scrambled out to the right, and instead of easily running out of bounds and stopping the clock, he was tackled for a 3-yard gain. 22 seconds later, Wilson was sacked for a 5-yard loss, basically ending the game. This isn't any sort of in-the-moment statement, but rather an opinion formed by watching the last 4 games. Extending and bringing back Russell Wilson for the next few years isn't, or at least shouldn't be, a slam dunk decision anymore. Of course, as I say this, he probably will be back because A, the free agent quarterback market will stink this offseason, B, the Steelers will be too low in the draft order to select an impact rookie quarterback, and C, Wilson is your best bet at getting a half-decent quarterback at a bargain so that more money can be put towards extending TJ Watt, maybe extending George Pickens, and making much-needed improvements to other parts of the team. Moving away from Tomlin and Wilson, I could be here all day listing off who's to blame for this losing streak. Offensive coordinator Arthur Smith continues to make mind-boggling play calls, clearly doing his best Matt Canada impersonation. How he is being mentioned for head coaching jobs this offseason beats the hell out of me. Next, George Pickens, in his first game back from injury, played like he should still be on the sideline in street clothes. Pickens had 1 reception for 0 yards on 6 targets with 3 drops. He wasn't helping the team off the field either, as getting into arguments with fans and letting his frustrations boil over caused multiple of his teammates to babysit him and keep his head in the game. Lastly, the defense has now given up a combined 109 points in the last 4 games. I can't bash them too much for holding Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to 19 points on Saturday, but they still need to figure out a lot in short order, or else they'll give up 30-plus points, maybe more, in the upcoming wildcard game. One more thing, it's a shame that a flu-stricken Cam Hayward was the best player on the field against the Bengals. More people need to step up. Cough, cough, TJ Watt. Cough, cough. With the Chargers defeating the Raiders yesterday, the Steelers will now head back to Baltimore for a matchup with the Ravens this Saturday night at 8 p.m. on Prime Video. Lord help us all, as we will most likely witness the Steelers getting blown out once again in the first round of playoffs. Could Mike Tomlin be sent out of Pittsburgh, but not by getting fired? As the displeasure with head coach Mike Tomlin by Steelers Nation heats up, so too are the rumors of Tomlin working elsewhere next season. On Sunday morning, ESPN senior NFL insider Adam Schefter said the following during a segment on which NFL head coaches have job security and which will be looking for work this offseason. I think that there are going to be teams out there that have watched the way the Pittsburgh Steelers season has ended and wonder whether they should call the Steelers to see if they could inquire about whether the Steelers would be willing to move on from Mike Tomlin and move him to another organization. I don't think Pittsburgh will do that. That has not been what they've been about, and there's been no indication that they would. But I do think there are teams wondering whether they should lob in a call just to see if they could stir Pittsburgh's interest. What Schefter is describing here is the Steelers possibly trading Tomlin to another team. Coaching trades in the NFL are very uncommon, with the most recent example being the New Orleans Saints trading the rights of their former head coach Sean Payton to the Denver Broncos in 2023. Schefter is also correct when saying that Pittsburgh will most likely never consider trading Tomlin. However, the Steelers need to at least listen. This past offseason, Steelers owner Art Rooney II said that it's time for the team to start winning again in the playoffs, but the way this season has ended, we are all getting deja vu of playoff failures past. Should a team like the New York Jets or the Jacksonville Jaguars be desperate enough to trade a first-round pick or more for Tomlin, then the long-term future of the Steelers organization must be put above a coach who hasn't led the team to a damn thing in over a decade. Going 9-8 or 10-7 with a blowout loss in the first round of playoffs isn't getting very old. It's been very old. It might be a little bitter for some Steelers fans, including myself, to say, but if you can trade Tomlin for a premium draft pick and then bring in Mike Vrabel or Ben Johnson as the Steelers' new head coach, sign me up. This quarterback expresses his desired future with the Steelers. Speaking of players on the Steelers who should stay or go this offseason, one player who is in his first year with the black and gold would like to stay in Pittsburgh. Last week, Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Justin Fields told Trib Sports' Steelers writer Kevin Gorman that he wants to be back with the team next year. Fields said, "I want to be here. I'm kind of tired of learning a new offense every year. This will be my third in 4 years. Of course, I'd love to be back, but that's all up to God at the end of the day. I'll be where God wants me to be." I don't know about God, but I do know where Steelers Nation wants Fields to be. With the Steelers this season, Fields started 6 games, passing for 1,106 yards, a 66.3 completion percentage, 5 touchdowns to just 1 interception, and a 93.9 passer rating, while also rushing for 5 more touchdowns. Fields has played a very minor role, if any, in the Steelers' recent struggles, and with the way Russell Wilson has been playing, fans have been clamoring for him to start again. I think Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin should heavily consider bringing back Fields for the same reasons that they probably will be bringing back Wilson. What do you guys think of this? Would you like to see Fields come back next season? Let me know in the comments below. Mike Tomlin press conference news and notes. You know the drill. The Steelers play on Saturday this week, meaning head coach Mike Tomlin held his weekly press conference this afternoon. Per usual, here are some quick notes from Coach T's presser. Firstly, Tomlin addressed this weekend's playoff game. When talking about playing the Ravens in Baltimore, Tomlin described this road matchup as, quote, a tax for not winning the division. With that, Tomlin was asked about the team's playoff drought and possibly ending it this weekend, to which he responded, "Because I work with this group every day. I'm excited about it. We're very familiar with this team. We know how to play this group, and so that's where our focus is as we get prepared for this one. What you mentioned is my story. It's not this collective story. Many of these guys involved do not tote those bags. I happily tote those bags, but it's not something that I'm gonna project on the collective." On the injury report, only 3 names were mentioned. Tomlin said that defensive lineman Cam Hayward had the day off as he continues to fight the flu. Right guard Mason McCormick will be getting fitted for a cast after breaking his hand against the Bengals. And corner Dante Jackson is feeling better, but will be monitored throughout the week with his back injury. Next, Coach T said that the inclusion of quarterback Justin Fields, most likely the reintroduction of a Fields package, could be utilized this weekend, saying, "Certainly, in an effort to win this game, I am open to any combination or combinations of the division of labor. Lastly, Tomlin was asked about George Pickens' antics, again, saying that the apparent conflict between GP and the crowd during last weekend's game is new news to him. Yep, definitely believe that one. One more time, the probable last Steelers game of the season is scheduled for 8 p.m. this upcoming Saturday. And lastly, the Pittsburgh Penguins have 2 good-looking losses while being back in a playoff spot. Over the weekend, the Pittsburgh Penguins wrapped up their 3-game road trip with visits to the Florida Panthers and Carolina Hurricanes. Both games saw the Pens lose in extra frames, falling 3-2 to the Panthers in a shootout on Friday and 4-3 to the Hurricanes in overtime on Sunday. Though the result was not what the road team desired, they still took 2 out of a possible 4 points in those games and, in my opinion, played some of their best hockey as a team this season. In Florida on Friday, the Penguins definitely deserved to win that game, and probably would have had it not gone to the outdated shootout. They also went into one of their houses of horrors in Raleigh and hung with a team that has had their number for the past couple of years. Also, by securing those 2 points, the Pens have jumped the Ottawa Senators and are currently holding the final wildcard spot at the halfway point of the season. Even amidst this 3-game losing streak, the Penguins have a great opportunity to stack wins during this upcoming 5-game homestand before a brutal 7-game road trip spanning nearly 2 full weeks to end January. The homestand begins tomorrow night against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up a Monday edition of the Steel City Sports Report. It's great to be back. Once again, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow with some more Pittsburgh sports news.